So let's talk about why you don't sound like yourself on camera.
I know we use so many words for it. Camera shyness or fear of visibility.
But after creating more than 100 videos over these last 2 years, I can confidently say that truth is much simpler than that. So, here's my take on it. You're not afraid of the camera. You're afraid of the version of you the camera might catch. Being seen.
And I don't mean that version we like to put up on our socials.
I mean the real one. The one that rambles. The one that may get a little bit too excited about things people might have stopped caring about years ago. It's that version of us that remembers something. And that's where it usually begins.
I was studying in Germany, and everyone around me was talking about what they would do after graduation. Their next step, their first job, the next right thing to do. And the thing was that I didn't really have a plan for my career at that moment. And the reason for that was that a friend asked me to direct a play. And I was excited. I mean, like a kid would be excited. But when I told my classmates, they looked at me as if I had said something completely embarrassing. And don't get me wrong, they weren't cruel or anything. For me, it was worse. They were polite about it. And that's when I immediately felt that shift. That rush of heat in my face, my palms being humid from the sweat.
The moment you realize the room has quietly decided that you're other.
And if we're honest, it doesn't take much. It can be one look, one pause,
one moment of being misunderstood or feeling like you don't belong.
And a part of you starts learning how to hide.
We learn to shapeshift, and that habit follows us everywhere.
Into friendships, into work, into the way we show up online.
We started to monitor ourselves long before the camera was involved. And I remember someone explaining it to me like this. Imagine you're born with a huge wart right on your nose. At first, you hate it.
You angle yourself so no one sees it. You avoid certain lights, certain rooms.
But then because you realize you really can't do much about it, you slowly begin to tolerate it.
Maybe you dress it up. You might put a sticker on it. Cover it with self-deprecating humor.
And eventually you wake up one day and say, oh, well, hello, there you are. It's the same with the parts of us that we abandon. They go through stages. At first it's disgust, then it's denial, then it's acceptance, and at some point, it may even become something like love. I think what brought a huge shift for me is the fact that the camera is not exposing me, but it's showing me the parts that I had abandoned, enough to slowly come back to myself. Look, I know this fear is not random.
It starts early in rooms where we were made to feel smaller, in conversations where our enthusiasm maybe was a bit much, where our creativity was strange,
or where we didn't fit the tone. Shame rewires us quietly. It shows up in tiny ways.
You record the same sentence again and again. You soften your voice halfway through a thought. You change your words to sound more neutral. You start editing while you're still recording.
And slowly the thing that made you want to press record in the first place disappears. And this is usually where most people quit or start performing a version of themselves. And so this thing that we thought would keep us safe was learned, and it can be unlearned. So here's what helped me start sounding like myself again.
First, I start writing by hand. When I write by hand, things come out that never show up when I type. The sentence I almost don't want to see on the page.
And usually that one turns out to be the one that matters. It can carry a whole video.
Then I make a memory map. The memory map really helps when I lose my thread. Instead of panicking or restarting, I can come back to a word, an image, a metaphor, something that reminds me why I pressed record in the first place. Think of it as little anchors you can return to. Third, I warm up my voice. I do it to sound better, but also to wake up my body and my mind and the parts of me that have been quiet.
So this is more like a vocal warm-up that I do, but somehow it's also about giving myself permission. Well, it's mainly about giving myself permission at this point. Fourth is I choose a container.
Think of this like a structure or a reframe. Containers keep me from spiraling into perfection. I choose that one sentence, that one purpose that carries the whole video.
When I know what this video is actually holding, one story, one reframe, or one sentence, it helps me connect to the intention around the idea. And just a small warning, none of these make the fear go away completely.
What it does is it gives me a way to notice the moment I start shape-shifting.
Instead of giving into that feeling, I can stay inside the idea that I want to transport. I still remember the room in Germany. The moment the energy shifted, the second I have stepped out of what is acceptable. The difference now is not that I don't feel the energy anymore. It's that I recognize when it shows up.
That tightening in the body,
that impulse to correct myself before anyone else can. But when I'm here,
in this room, with this camera,
no one is asking me to shrink. No one is waiting for me to say the right thing. No one is measuring how well I fit in. And the moment I notice that, like when I really notice it in my body, something loosens. I don't need to smooth out the edges, and I don't need to translate myself into something safer. I can just speak and stay. So maybe this isn't really about the camera. Maybe this is about the part of you that learned to shrink in moments where you should have been celebrated. The camera is not exposing you. It's returning you. And if you wouldn't ask someone for advice, don't let their imagined criticism silence you. That's how you come back.